Feliciano. This is his project number 4, and it's called The Play. His objectives are to adapt to a play for interpretive reading, to portray several characters in one reading, identifying them to the audience in the different types of voices. So at this time, his play is called Sunset Limited. So at this time, I would like to present to some and to introduce to others Mr. James Feliciano.
Sunset Limited is a two-person play. It was shown on HBO a while back. I did an adaptation of it with one person. Now we're going to add the extra person here. It has to do with an ex-con and a philosophy professor. The philosophy professor tried to commit suicide by jumping in front of the Sunset Limited. He was saved by the ex-con character. And the play opens and takes place in the apartment where the ex-con lives. And so we felt, if you ever get a chance, be sure to watch it. On HBO, starred Samuel L. Jackson and Tommy Lee Jones. Good cast. So without further ado, Sunset Limited. So what am I supposed to do with you, Professor? Why are you supposed to do anything? I done told you this ain't none of my doing. I left out of here this morning to go to work. You wasn't no part of any plan of mine. But here you is. Well, people who are looking out for perfect strangers are very often people who won't look out for the ones they're supposed to look out for. In my opinion, if you're just doing what you're supposed to, then you don't get to be a hero. And that would be me. I don't know, would it? So you want to help people in trouble? Yeah. Why is that? You ain't ready for that. How about just the short answer? That is the short answer. I don't understand why you live here. As compared to where? Anywhere. You don't think this is a terrible place? What's terrible about it? It's horrible. It's a horrible life. Damn, Professor, this ain't a horrible life. What are you talking about? This place, it's a horrible place, full of horrible people. You must know these people are not worth saving, even if they could be saved. Which they can't, you must know that. Well, I always liked the challenge. That's why I started a ministry in prison before I got out. Now that was a challenge. Well, I think I'd better go. You don't need to go, Professor. That's why you don't need to go, Professor. What am I going to do? You leave me sitting here by myself. You don't need me. You just don't want to feel responsible if anything happens to me. Just stay a while. This place has got to be more cheerful than your own. I don't think you have any idea how strange it is for me to be here. I think I got some idea. Let me ask you something. Ask it. Why can't you people just accept it that some people don't even want to believe in God? I accept that. You do? Sure I do, meaning that I believe it to be a fact. I'm looking at it every day. I better accept it. Then why can't you just leave us alone? To do your own thing? Yes. Hanging from them steam pipes and all? That's what we want to do. Yes. Because he said not to. It's in the Bible. I guess you just don't want to be happy. Happy? Yeah, what's wrong with happy? Oh, God help us. What? You done opened a can of worms here? What do you got against being happy? It's contrary to the human condition. Well, it's certainly contrary to your condition. I got to agree with that. Happy, this is ridiculous. Like they ain't no such thing? Not for nobody? No. How did we ever get in such a fix as this? We were born in such a fix as this. Suffering and human destiny are the same thing. Each is a description of the other. Professor, we ain't talking about suffering. We're talking about being happy. Well, you can't be happy if you're in pain. Why not? You're not making any sense. Why don't you just give up? Even God gives up at some point. There's no ministry in hell that I've ever heard of. No, there ain't. That's well put, Professor. Ministry is for the living. That's why you're responsible for your brother. You might even want to monitor his training schedule. You think you are your brother's keeper? I don't believe think quite says it. And Jesus is part of that enterprise. Is that okay with you? And I suppose he's interested in coming here to this cesspool and salvaging what everybody knows is unsalvageable. Why would he do that? He said he didn't have a lot of free time. Why would he come here? What would be the difference to him between a building that was morally and spiritual vacant and one that was just plain vacant? Professor, you're a theologian here and I didn't even know it. Sometimes I think you just say things for the effect. Well, let me say this for effect. Go ahead. Suppose I was to tell you that if you could just bring yourself to unlatch your hands from around your brother's throat, you could have life everlasting. There's no such thing. Everybody dies. That ain't what I said. He said you could have life everlasting. Life. Have it today. Hold it in your hand. That you can see it. It gives off a little light. It's got a little weight to it. Not much. Warm to the touch. Just a little. And it's forever. And you can have it. Now, today. But you don't want it. You don't want it because to get it, you got to let your brother off the hook. You got to actually take him and hold him in your arm. And it don't make no difference what color he is or what he smells like. Or even if you don't want to be helped. And the reason you won't do it is because he don't deserve it. And about that, there ain't no argument. He don't deserve it. You won't do it because it ain't just. Ain't that so? I just don't believe those sort of things. Just answer the question, Professor. Just answer the question. Oh, I don't know. I suppose there's some truth in what you say. Let me kindly ask you a personal question. This will be good. What do you think is wrong with you that you finally has narrowed down all your choices to the Sunset Limited? I don't think there's anything wrong with me. I think I've just been driven to finally face the truth. If I'm different, it doesn't mean I'm crazy. Different from whom? Oh, from anybody. What about them other folks trying to off themselves? What about them? Well, maybe them is folks that you is like. Maybe them folks is your natural kin. Only you all don't just get together that much. No, I've been in group therapy with those people. I've never found anyone there that I felt any kinship with. What about them other professors? There ain't no kinship with them? Good God. You've got to be kidding me. The other professors? Is you on any kind of medication? No. You mean to tell me you ain't got no medication for pilgrims waiting to take the sunset? For suicidal depression? Yeah. And nothing happened. Let me ask you, Professor, you ride the subway every day? Yeah. What do you think about them people? Well, I try not to think about them at all. You ever speak to any of them? Any of them? About what? About anything. Oh, no. God, no. People don't speak to each other waiting for a train. God, no. You ever curse them? No. Why would I do that? Maybe just under your breath, to yourself. I suppose. Well, how often? Hey, you know, you don't get to interrogate me, you know. I know, give me a number. I have no idea. Sure you do. A number. A number? I'm a number man. Could it be 5? Could be. 10? I think that's a little high. We can go with 5. That's $18.25 per year. Can we round that off to $2 grand? Will that do? Let's say if I was to guess your age as 20 years of commute. And now we got 40,000 curses heaped on the heads of folks you don't even know. Now, where's this going? Please tell me, where's this going? Okay, Professor. Let me ask you another question. You ever think about Jesus? Oh, here we go. Just pulling your chain, Professor. Pulling your chain. You need to listen. Or you need to believe what you're hearing. The whole point of where this is going, which is what you wanted to know, is that at the bottom of the mind is just pure ore. That forever thing that you don't think is there. It's that thing that helps keep people nailed down to the platform when the sunset limited comes roaring through. That thing that makes it possible to lay aloud benediction upon the heads of strangers instead of curses. It's all the same thing. And it ain't but one thing. Just one. And I suppose that would be Jesus.